Hey everyone, what's good, what's good, what's good? I don't think anyone's up at this time. That's honestly fine because it's 10:38. I don't know. Seems like pretty late to most people. I don't know. I don't know what times people sleep at. But yeah, let's get back. Anyways, my strategy is pretty simple. Okay, I can't speak for some reason. Oh fuck. Okay, there we go. My strategy is pretty simple. I'm looking for a few things. First of all, I'm looking for a sweep. Okay. Then I'm looking for a confirmation. Actually, no, I'm trolling. I'm looking for a sweep, right? Proper manipulation in every leg. Considering this is still liquidity. Okay. And then I'm looking for price to displace above this inter-term low. Proper displacement, not a sweep. Displace above this, come back, use a fair value gap, go higher. Okay, simple as that. Manipulation. What is this? Distribution. Even this leg could be considered distribution. Okay, so it's pretty simple. In this scenario, I would even consider one more thing, and that's for price to go higher than here and then come back. What's this? Pretty simple. Okay. With that in mind, let's backtest. Alright. It's pretty simple. So now let's go back in time to some random spot. Okay. So now let's look at 4 hour. What's going on the 4 hour? Keep in mind we use 4 hour for PD array. Seems like we are sweeping liquidity. So I'm looking for a reversal. Okay. Seems like we're close below. Anyways, let's go back in time to the same spot that we were at. Consider this as the PD array because, you know, consider this as the PD array because this is going higher. Or in this current point in time, I would consider this as my PD array, as you can see. If we test this PD array, and we're using this level as a level of support, which it clearly does, right? It uses this as a level of support. It's trying to push price higher, but we don't see any other liquidity draws which are parallel to this. So overall, it is sweeping liquidity. But for how long, I'm not too sure. See, it's sweeping liquidity. So what I'm expecting here, okay, in this type of scenario, is if price is gonna hold this PD area, then I would want to trade away from it towards the buy side liquidity draws. Okay, so let's look at this for example. This is what's happening in the 50-minute time frame, and you can see that there is a unmitigated fair value gap here. This is already baked into, as you can see. So let's use this unmitigated fair value gap, which happens to be a order block over here. Seems like we hit stop loss. Okay. So now let's look at just the 15-minute. And let's look at the... This is a buy side liquidity draw. Okay, so now we seem to be sweeping liquidity. Boom, swept liquidity. In this specific trend, we swept liquidity. Seems like we have a fair value gap here. We wicked into it. And boom. We use this as a point of interest, or a take profit in other words. So if we entry from here, and use this as my target, you get a 1 to 2.1. But if I'm looking for, let's say for example right here. Okay. So we don't really have a draw on liquidity. So I'm not trying to take a trade, and even if I do take a trade, it's not going to be much. For example, let's say after the market structure shift, even if I take it off, let's say for example this order block, even if I take it off this, not much. It's not much. Because I need to have proper confidence in the type of trade that I'm taking. For instance, it needs to have proper distance between this point right here and this point. So my buy side liquid draw needs to be somewhere here, and my inter-term low needs to be somewhere here, or somewhere here, and then it manipulates, and so that way I have enough space to sort of drag my stop loss to my take profit right here. So that's exactly why I don't like this ratio right here, because once it comes up or forms a fair value gap in this area, this is my take profit. See the distance? Such a little distance. So let's go back over. See, over here we have a bit of a good trade. So we see we swept all this liquidity. So once this fair value gap forms, which is unmitigated over here, I'm gonna use this as a level of support. To use this from around here to this point. 1 to 2. Boom. TP. Let's go here. You see manipulation. Once it's manipulated, and once it closes above this inter-term low. See? Closes above. So this is right below. So ideally I wouldn't want to use this because this might be sweeping liquidity. Okay, so now we have a proper confirmation. So now we will use this fair value gap to entry off, then target these highs. It's a 1-to-1. It's not really worth it. Boom. Let's go here. Same concept. We sweep liquidity right here. Sweep liquidity. We close below. Let's see if it's just a sweep. Never mind. Doesn't seem to be a sweep. We have a fair value gap. So we would entry off this fair value gap, targeting these highs. And I would want a 1 to 2. See if we can get that. But this was an extremely risky trade though, because ideally I would want to go here, but that's not enough RR. That's why I went for that. Anyways, let's look for any other type of trades. So you see over here we have a bunch of consolidations, so I'm not gonna go for that. See that we have a sweep over here. This is a weird situation. So right here we have a manipulation. We close below. We have a fair value gap below that. So ideally I wouldn't want to entry off this. I'll wait for price to go back up. There's one thing that I'm missing here though. All of the trades that I'm trying to take need to be pretty high risk to reward if I'm trying to take it towards the upside. Which means I need to identify when a sweep is done sweeping. So for that, that's why I want to use the intraday bias. So you can see over here we have a middle time frame trade plan. So this is something like a 15-minute. For instance, this is a PDA on like the 4-hour. Uses this as a level of support, and then you retrace higher towards the weak highs over here. So even though we are breaking structure towards the upside, you can see that this inter-term low is broken, and then price sweeps liquidity right there, and then takes it lower, breaking structure towards the downside. Now these are small little changes of character. These are the sweeps. In other words, if price really wants to break or have a proper market structure shift, it needs to go higher than this. Let me show you an example. This is the inter-term low, which is then, I'm sorry, this is the inter-term low, which has to be broken, as you can see. But this was just a sweep, because it was using this supply level, or the buy side liquidity in other words, to go lower from. As you can see, sweeps this liquidity, goes lower. It needs to sweep this liquidity, run on liquidity below this. So it sweeps this liquidity and then goes. But here's the problem. These situations. These. Because you see the problem is, this is the problem, right? This is the problem right here. Because this one, okay? This one, there's one manipulation, right? And there's a second manipulation over here. So what I gotta see here is when this is properly displaced above, and let's say it pulls back to this fair value gap here, it's still not valid at this point, you know? Even if you use this fair value gap to go higher from, it's still not valid. So how do we identify spots like this? That's the question right here. Okay, so if you wanted to identify a proper market structure shift, it's not a sweep. You gotta make sure there's a close draw. That's the point. Because reaching for these highs is very unlikely. So you see, it's overall bearish. And what you gotta really consider is this narrative. This is a 4-hour fair value gap. This is a 4-hour fair value gap. Which means, until this 4-hour fair value gap is balanced back to, it's gonna keep going lower. That's the whole narrative here. There is a sweep somewhere. For instance, we have a breaker structure right here. But here's the problem, right? We have a 4-hour demand zone. This right here is a 4-hour demand zone. As soon as we have this, you see, uses this as a support level to retrace higher. But I have another problem, right? I have another problem. So the other problem that I have over here is the sweep. Okay? A sweep right here. So the question that I have is, for instance, right? So let's say we were heading, okay, so this is a market maker buy model, right? So let's say, for example, we were retesting this price level, for fair value gap, okay? Let me go higher from there. See if we swept liquidity, as some people call it, the head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. So you can see that we swept liquidity right here. We're using this level as a support level once again. We retest this price and we take it up towards the buy side liquidity draw. It's pretty simple. And then we sweep liquidity, come back, okay? We come back here, but we don't really come all the way down here. We retest this order block, okay? Retest this order block, and then it goes higher from there. Sweeps liquidity once again, right? See an order block right here. Retest this order block, goes up here. Now this happens because of one reason. This PD area over here, or a fair value gap in this case. I'm pretty sure it's a fair value gap over here. Think of this line as like a fair value gap. See, this is a sweep, okay? And this is the draw on liquidity. This is not much because it's just a sweep. But when you see this, this is when smart money manages to trap people that are more than just retail traders through this so-called market structure shift. Because technically we do see proper displacement above. So why wouldn't we come down to a fair value gap and go higher? This reason. The whole bigger narrative. That's why bigger narratives are always important in this. So you see there's a fair value gap. There should be some sort of I mean not fair value gap. Manipulation right here. We tap back into probably in fair value gap and go lower. High low, high high. A low, high low, high high, low low. And we have what? A unicorn model. Bearish breaker right here. Tap, boom, lower. So we have this. This is an inter-term low, which is broken. But then we swept liquidity. then we go lower. So overall, you want to consider one thing. Right? First of all, you want to consider the forward fair value gap. Where are we heading? Right? If we're going to retest this level, okay, this might be a retest, this might not be a retest, who knows, right? If it is retested in this level, then we have this validated. This is nothing but a market maker buy, market maker sell, and market maker buy model. Okay? So you see we have this low, which is the low that's sweeping liquidity. So we swept this liquidity, and we go higher from here. Probably through like a fair value gap. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an order block right here. What did we learn today? It was the fact that order blocks. Let's try to spot some order blocks in some random example. Okay, this one for example. I guess this is an example that I have, but I did not point out any specific order blocks. So you see over here we have what, a bunch of order blocks, right? So let's see if we can spot a proper order block. So this is a fair value gap. This, we didn't sweep liquidity here. Oh wait, we did sweep liquidity. There's a fair value gap. So therefore this is an order block right here. So this is a potential point where price is gonna come back to and sort of reclaim and then go lower from. And there's also a price retest that could happen over here. So we have 2 points of reversal. Either this or this. So let me consider one more thing, right? Let's consider something like this. Why can't we use this order block? Well, we can. There's no problem here. I would use this because there's a fair value gap right after. See? Pulls back down to this price area. Doesn't always work, see? Doesn't always work. So it's all about probabilities, to be honest. But you can see that there is a fair value gap right here. Taps back and goes lower. And that's just the fair value gap in itself. You can see that this order block right here, let's consider the 50% of this. So you can see the 50% encroachment does work sometimes. We have the bearish engulfing. Now this was the candle that swept the liquidity. Where is it? This was the candle that swept the liquidity. So you can see that this is the fair value gap candle. And it pulls back to this fair value gap. But it didn't pull back up to this range. So let's use the 50% encroachment. Let's see over here. Right here it pulls back to the 50% encroachment of this bearish candle. Reclaims this order block and goes lower from there. If we consider this scenario, for example, this is swept liquidity at this point. Sweep liquidity, and then you don't see a fair value gap here. Therefore, we will keep going until we find a candle that's not associated with a fair value gap. That's this whole concept right here. Where is it? Right here. There's a fair value gap right here. Therefore, this is validated, as you can see. You see there is a order block. We swept liquidity. We have the fair value gap. Price taps back and goes higher. This is an order block, and this is also an order block. So price will tap here and even sweep some of this liquidity and then go higher. This is very important, right? This is one of the most important concepts. So you see there is a order block over here. But is it really a order block? No. You know why? This has been wicked into multiple times. But this right here, right? We swept liquidity. We cannot use this because there's no fair value gap, because this wicks directly inside the whole body of this candle. So therefore we use this as a fair value gap right after. Therefore, this is an order block. See, price taps back, temporary reversal, and then goes lower. This sweeps liquidity right here. We see this fair value gap, taps back into it, then goes higher. This confirms that the fact that this is a order block, because this doesn't displace inside. Therefore, you can go higher from here. There's an order block right here as well. But there's another order block over here. It's all about retesting a bunch of price levels and probabilities, to be honest. Anyways, with that out the way, I just gotta make sure I keep studying this, so that way I'm good with this tomorrow. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little stream. It was 20 minutes, Jesus Christ. Pretty much just gotta keep testing different price ranges and looking for order flow, basically. As you can see right here, we have 1 to 3 FVA. We have a fair value gap. This is the point where we hit the fair value gap. Invalidates the fair value gap, but it doesn't hit the stop loss. You know why? Because this swept liquidity. This was a huge fair value gap. Therefore, this is a good valid order block. This whole area, even the 50% especially. So if you entry out right off this 50% encroachment, you have a high probability trade, even for the, as you can see. If I draw a OTE from the top to the bottom, as you can see, if you entry right here, and this, targeting these lows, get a 1 to 8. Let's see if it hits. Boom. There we go. Was this just a sweep? Nope. We have extra confirmation. Boom. Tapped in. Boom. Anyways, let me backtest a little bit more. Okay, we see a sweep right here. Fair value gap. Nope, didn't come back. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the stream. I gotta make sure I keep backtesting, refining my edge, and it's getting better. Yeah. This is a fair value gap once again. Tap back into it. Tap back into it. Boom. Triggered in. So we use this. Let's use this as my stop loss. Boom. Can even use this. Let's go for a more realistic scenario. Let's go for this. So you can see that there is a manipulation. Okay. Let me see. There is a small fair value gap. I don't think this would be validated though. Oh fuck. Okay, so we swept liquidity and we closed the fair value gap right after. Inside the oh shit. Hold up. This is the, there we go. Yep, that was a horrible trade. So one thing we should consider is the risk to reward. For instance, boom, we go higher, market structure shift, inter-term low, broken. Small gap right here. So if we do pull back, we will entry from here. We don't need that. Amazing. Fuck, man. Just goes without me. That's crazy. Anyways, basically, with that being said, right? I'm just gonna take this last sweep test. Okay. Alright, so you see this little fair value gap? See if it pulls back. Nope, it doesn't. That is actually fucking wild. You know? It doesn't pull back. You don't get this trade whatsoever. So I think order blocks low-key might be the wave. Because you want to entry as early as possible. For instance, like if you wait too long, you're not gonna get in. That's the problem. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the stream. I'm gonna backtest a little bit more, learn about order blocks, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.